In this video, I will review the results of my March 2023 Pocket Money Challenge and lay out some thoughts and intentions for April. Let's do it. Today is the Friday before spring break, and we're all done.
My brain is like oatmeal.
This is the time of year when school staff are sort of hanging on by a very, 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 very thin thread as far as just keeping it together. My spring break will be the opposite of a restful one, however, because my son and I are flying cross country and we will be very, very busy and probably not sleeping very much the entire time we're gone. So, this might be one of those times when I need a vacation from my vacation, but hopefully not to the point where coming back to work will feel like a vacation. Hopefully not that. I'm also pretty sure that this is the same shirt that I wore last time I did this, but I just had my wrap around me. Yeah, that's about the right speed. Okay, the results of my March 2023 Pocket Money Challenge. I did good. March was a good month as far as not overspending and kind of just sticking to my guns as far as this entire process goes about just being mindful of consumption and going through what I have already and just not feeling like I need to buy a bunch of stuff. And this entire year in that department so far has been really, really positive. And I'm pretty pleased with what I've done so far in this regard. So, to review, for March, I gave myself a $100 allowance, but I did overspend just a touch in February by $1.93. So, adding the $100 to that brought my available allowance, pocket money allowance for March, down to $98.07. So that's what I had to play with as far as spending was concerned. And just to review, the spending in this arena is what I would consider extremely discretionary, very much extra. That does not include anything like rent or power or internet or phones or food or gas. That being said, I have tracked grocery and gas while I've done this no buy, low buy, or now pocket money challenge just to kind of see because grocery can be a very hot button category for me as far as overspending. I did not track grocery this month because we did really well last month, and I just didn't feel the need to do that this month, but I might do it for April. I haven't quite decided yet, but I didn't track eating out or grocery for March. This is just extra little things that are really wants more than needs, and all my other expenses were covered and not included in this. All right. So what did I buy in March? Again, I had a balance of $98.07. On the 1st of March, I went ahead and bought another pack of the Urban Earth Sandalwood incense that I love so much. I had run out and I was in the town where I normally buy that, so I just decided I would pick up a pack. And that cost me $3.16, and it's a pack of 20. On March 5th, I went ahead and went have these with my kid again for Sling TV so he can watch his NASCAR. If we do have Sling activated as a subscription, I will use it. I don't use it as much as he does, but I will use it if it's there. And so I was willing to do that for him and for me. I've talked about this before. Sling is one of those streaming services that I don't have all the time, like Netflix and Spotify and Amazon Prime and Acorn and BrookBox. We have all the time just because we use them enough for me to just kind of build that into what we spend. But other services like Sling or YouTube TV or Friendly TV or Paramount Plus or Discovery Plus. Those services we kind of bring in on a rotating basis depending on what's on them at the time and what we're wanting to watch. Sling is one of those services that is rotating. And so if I decided when I did this, if I brought one of those streaming services in, kind of the on a rotating basis, I would include that in my pocket money challenge. So my half of Sling was $20. So that brought my spend total up to $23.16. My next spend wasn't until the 15th, and that was my third month of a discounted Audible credit. I went ahead and I activated a promotion at the beginning of the year that gave me 3 months of credit, essentially to 50% discount. So this is my last month for that, and I did put my membership on hold for now just because I have so many things to get through. So my discounted Audible credit was $8.13, which brought my spend total up to $31.29. Next spend was also on the 15th, and it was a shopping day, and I was out, and I decided to get myself a coffee. I've said before, coffees and teas out I include in my pocket money purchases just because that's another category that can really get out of hand really quickly if I don't watch it. So by lumping it into this kind of category of spending, I'm able to rein it in a lot more effectively than if I just let myself kind of go willy-nilly with it. So I got a I got a mudslide, a cold brew with chocolate Milano cold foam. So good. This place I like to go to, that's one of the specials that they tend to do in March. They make it all year round, but they promote it in March. And so I was like, it's time to get a mudslide cold brew. And that mudslide cold brew came out to a little bit of an expensive $7.17. But the reason why it was a little bit higher was because I actually did get a coffee prior to that, but I had a free stamp card where I was able to get a drink for free. And I didn't have any cash to leave a tip. So what I decided I would do the next time I bought one with my own money is I would tip double. So that's what I did here. So with the tip and the drink and everything, it was $7.17, which brought my spending total up to $38.46. My next spend was also on the 15th, so it's shopping day. But that pack of incense that I bought on the first, I burned through that. No pun intended. Okay, maybe it was a little intended. But anyway, I bought another pack of incense for another $3.16, which brought my spend total up to $41.62. My last pocket money spend of the month was a Kickstarter. I mentioned this in my February video that I was going to back a tarot deck on Kickstarter, and that would come out in March. The money would be charged to me in March. And the funding was successful. It was successful, like probably, I think, the first day. So, the campaign ran until the end of March, and it is the Rain Shadow Tarot by Claire Mack. I mentioned in another video, I can't for the life of me remember which one that was, but why that tarot was kind of meaningful to me and why I chose to back it. But anyway, my pledge went through, and I got an early bird, and that came out to $57 even. So that brought my spend total up to $98.62. And again, in March, I went over, but I went over by 55 cents. So I can't get mad at that, really. I'm okay with how that ended. I ended up spending on 6 different services and or items in the month of March, which is one less than February, where I spent on 7 different services or items, and the same as January, where I spent on 6 different services or items. I'm really happy with that. One of the greatest things about this entire process is that I do not feel deprived at all. At all. It's been kind of surprising to me just how content I feel with the things that I have and going through the things that I have, using what I have, and just really being at home with that. And it's been a fantastic process, and I fully intend to keep doing it. So, Pocket Money Challenge April. is an absolute go. I am doing this again. April will be a bit of a different month because, as I said before, my son and I are taking a trip. We have some fun money that we are going to use. So I will be getting myself a few things just as souvenirs, but not like random little like touristy type souvenirs. I want to get things. I like to get things when I travel that are really meaningful. Like I like to get a bag of coffee that's been roasted locally by an independent shop, or I like to get a book from an independent bookstore, or I fully intend to find a metaphysical store and get myself a tarot deck. Maybe I've never bought a tarot deck while traveling out of my state, so I think that would be kind of fun to try and find that. So I fully intend to get a few things like that for myself and for my son. My son has his own money, but I might spend a little on him as well. So there is that. So what I get on our trip will be excluded from this just because this is something that we have had planned for quite a while, and this was coming. So this is an exclusion from the challenge. So what I buy on our trip will just be, we'll leave it at that. There will be a trip video eventually when it's over. So I decided for April, I'm going to give myself a full $100 again, mainly because there are a few things that I actually kind of need, but it's a gray area between a need and a want. I need the item, but there's a big variance, in how much I could spend on these things. And so I am lumping them in here just to kind of see what I do end up deciding to get, and just kind of look at that process when you have an item that is in the gray, where it's a need, but it's also kind of a want, where you need the item, but you could spend a lot less or a lot more depending on what you are wanting or feeling or in the mood for at that time. So I am putting that here just to kind of see what the results of that process is. So with my overspend of 55 cents and then adding on $100, that will put my allowance total for April at $99.45. And I really think I can make that work. If I do this in May, my allowance is going to be more just because my son's graduation is in June and there are things I want to get for that. And I already kind of had that planned ahead of time. So I will probably incorporate that amount into that, because again, there are things I kind of need but also kind of want. So that's a good practice, I think, to include those things in this challenge, just to see where I end up taking that. So yeah, $99.45 is what I will have for April. So that's it, I think, for this one. Like I said, love this process, like where it's going. I fully intend to continue, at least for the foreseeable near future. And I'm still keeping my lists that, Juli, Peekaboo Rose, Juli, she inspired me to keep the Retail Temptations list. Anytime you want to buy something that's like discretionary and you just want it, you write it down and then you just like mull it over for a while. And what's really interesting is that of all the items I have written down on that list, I have quite a few and they're divided by month. I've only purchased one thing from that list. And so that's very telling as far as what you think you really want at the time and then what you actually end up getting. So yeah, that's been a good process too. Okay, until my next video, take care and be well.